Christine wakes up early in the morning to the grueling sunlight shining through the window. She rolls out of bed, tosses on her robe, and begins her morning. She walks downstairs to the kitchen, brews some coffee, and makes toast and eggs. She can hear her children talking upstairs, and she thinks to herself, "Fuck my life." One by one, her 6 children come running downstairs. What was a peaceful morning quickly turned into chaos. Christine makes plates for her children as they argue, yell, and run around the dining room. Christine's husband died 3 years ago, and she has been trying to manage everything on her own ever since. Sometimes she wishes it had been she who died. The children finish their breakfast and run off, disappearing into different parts of the house. It's the dead of winter, with the temperature right below 30 degrees outside, but Christine knows that outside is the only solace she can achieve. She grabs her coffee and walks out to the porch to enjoy the silence and admire the snowy scenery. The porch is covered with ice, so Christine walks carefully to the edge of the porch and leans over the railing. She relaxes and begins to enjoy her coffee, listening to the sounds of nature, even in this dreadful cold. One of her children begins crying, surely because of something another child did. They were always fighting. Christine hears the cries and realizes her moment of peace has officially come to an end. She turns around and dreadfully makes her way to the front door. She takes a few steps toward the door and slips on ice. Her coffee goes flying in the air, the mug shattering on the hard, icy porch, and her head flies backward as her feet fly forward. She hits her head as she falls. Blood begins to leak from her head, and she goes unconscious. The next thing Christine remembers is waking up the next day to the same grueling light shining through the window. Her head feels fine, and there is no sign of damage from the fall. In fact, she doesn't even remember falling at all. She rolls out of bed, tosses on her robe, and begins her morning as usual. She walks downstairs to the kitchen, but her coffee is already made. There is toast and eggs already made and prepared on plates for the children. She knows she didn't make anything, and the kids can't make coffee, let alone toast and eggs. She doesn't get much time to think, because right on time she hears the children upstairs talking, and again she thinks to herself, "Here we go again." One by one, her children come running downstairs. Christine makes her cup of coffee as the children run around the house, arguing and yelling. They eventually sit down to eat their breakfast, and again Christine finds herself pondering who made breakfast and her coffee. As the children finish their plates and run off into different parts of the house, Christine makes her way to the porch to enjoy the silence and nature as usual. As she steps outside, she notices a small area of the porch is ice-free, and within that ice-free area is a dark spot. She can't tell what the dark spot is, but she is more concerned with why that area has no ice. She examines the area further and notices a piece of her broken mug. She looks at the piece and realizes it belongs to the mug she is using right now. Now, Christine is befuddled. Things aren't adding up. First, her coffee was made for her, then the kids' breakfast was already prepared, and now she finds a piece of the exact mug she is using on the porch. But she knows she doesn't have 2 of the same mugs. As Christine stands there trying to make sense of everything, she notices a tall figure in the far distance. The figure is wearing a long black robe that drags on the ground. Suddenly, while Christine is trying to make out who and what the figure is, the mysterious figure teleports right in front of her, standing on the porch, about 3 feet in front of Christine, and places its hand on her shoulder. Christine is scared shitless. Her mind is telling her to run, but her body won't allow her to move. She looks at the hand on her shoulder. It's a skeleton's hand. Christine jumps back in terror and lets out a scream. She runs back inside, trying not to slip on the icy porch, and calls out to her kids, but no one answers. She runs upstairs, but to her surprise, there are no children. Christine begins to panic. She runs around the house frantically looking for her children, but has no luck finding them. Finally, she collapses on the kitchen floor in tears. The mysterious figure appears in the kitchen, and Christine begins yelling and screaming at the figure, believing it has something to do with her missing children. After realizing the figure is unfazed by her anger and frustration, she eventually collapses into tears again. The figure reaches down and extends its bony hand to help Christine up off the floor. She stares at its hand and then stares at its face. Its face is completely covered by the overly droopy hooded robe, leaving nothing but a black hole visible. She takes its hand, and it helps raise her off the floor. Christine asks the figure what is going on, and the figure points toward the porch. It slowly floats toward the front door, and Christine is mesmerized at the sight of this figure levitating across the floor. She follows it outside, and the figure stands next to the area of melted ice and the dark spot on the porch, pointing at the dark smear. Christine, still puzzled at what the figure is trying to say, looks confused and asks the figure again, "What's going on?" Suddenly, Christine's body appears leaning over the porch ledge. She says to the mysterious figure, "That's me." Her body turns around to walk back inside the house, and Christine watches in horror as she slips and falls. Her mug flies in the air and shatters on the porch, and Christine immediately realizes that's why she found the piece of the mug earlier. Christine gasps in awe while she watches the blood leak from her head. Now, Christine is in denial. She is smart enough to put the pieces together herself, but she refuses to accept what the figure is showing her. She begins to reflect on her life. More importantly, she thinks of her children. Where are my kids? What happened to my children? The figure begins to float away, and Christine follows. They get about 50 feet from the porch, and the figure points at the house. Now, the house is transparent from the front. Christine can see everything in the house. Her kids are running around, yelling and fighting. One of the kids, a younger daughter, goes into the kitchen and begins to gather ingredients to make more toast and eggs. The young girl doesn't know what she is doing, but Christine can see her trying. Soon after placing the eggs in the pan and turning on the stove, another small child comes downstairs and starts meddling with the younger daughter. The young girl gets distracted and begins chasing her older sibling through the house. The pan starts to smoke, but no one notices. It quickly grows from smoke to fire. Christine screams for her children to get out of the house, but soon realizes her words are going unheard. While her children are running around the house, her body is lying lifeless on the porch, and the kitchen goes up in flames. All the children are upstairs playing and running around, clueless of what is going on downstairs. It doesn't take long before the entire house is up in flames, with all 6 children still inside. Christine breaks down in tears. "No, no, no." The figure removes its hood. It's her husband. "Michael," Christine exclaims. She embraces Michael, and he holds her in his bony arms. "Is this how you want our family to end?" he asks Christine. "It's so hard without you. I can't do this on my own," she replies. "I know it's hard, but you are all they have." "I love them, Michael. I just don't know how to do this alone." "You're never alone. I am always right here with you. I need you, Michael. Our children need their father. You are both father and mother. Now, treat them better, or you will die alone." "I will. You better, or you'll be here with me, and our children will be alone with no one to love them." "I will do better. I will learn to appreciate this life we've built, and I will love our children enough for both of us." "Good." Michael's face fades away, and the Reaper's face appears. The Reaper put his hood back on and started to float away. Christine can hear Michael's voice in her head. "I love you, Christine, and I will always be with you." The Reaper disappears into thin air, and Christine walks back to the house. As she opens the front door, she sees all 6 children running around the house, yelling and fighting. Usually this is where she would say, "Fuck my life," but this time she smiles and says, "Thank you, Michael.